Hello there, we're glad to have you join us on this maiden edition of NAPTIP on the Move. NAPTIP on the Move is a magazine program designed to inform, educate and enlighten you on issues of human trafficking, child labor, exploitative labor, organ harvesting, as well as the activities of the agency. I am Emmanuela Okeke. Thank you for joining us. In this first episode, you will get to know why NAPTIP was created, its mandate, structure, and strategies in combating human trafficking. You will also get to meet the amiable, passionate, and dynamic Director General of the agency, Dame Julie Okadoni. Stay with us.
Created on the 14th of July 2003 by the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Law, Enforcement and Administration Act 2003, which was reenacted in March 2015 to further strengthen the agency to the new trends in the crime of trafficking in persons and also to strengthen the institutional framework. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons is a multidisciplinary crime-fighting agency and the nation's focal institution to fight the scourge of trafficking in persons using the five-pronged approach of policy, prevention, protection, prosecution, and partnerships. The agency has several functions, including coordination and enforcement of all other laws on trafficking in persons, adoption of effective measures for the prevention and eradication of trafficking in persons, investigation of all cases of trafficking in persons, including forced labor, child labor, forced prostitution, exploitative labor, and other forms of exploitation, slavery and slavery-like activities, bonded labor, removal of organs, illegal smuggling of migrants, sale and purchase of persons. Awareness creation and public enlightenment through seminars, workshops, publications, radio and television programs, and other means aimed at educating the public on the dangers of trafficking in persons. The agency also has to coordinate, supervise and control the protection, assistance and rehabilitation of trafficked persons, as well as collaborate with relevant government bodies within and outside Nigeria, amongst other functions. To carry out its mandate, the agency has the power to investigate whether any person or entity has committed an offence under the Trafficking in Persons Act, enter into any premises, property or conveyance for the purpose of conducting searches in furtherance of its functions. It also has the power to arrest, detain and prosecute offenders under the Act or any other laws on trafficking in persons in Nigeria, trace, seize, detain or retain the custody for the purpose of investigation and prosecution of any property which the agency believes have been involved or used in commission of offences. The agency also has powers to seal up premises upon reasonable suspicion of such premises being involved with or used in connection with offences, and seek and receive information from any person, authority, corporation or company without hindrance in respect of the enforcement of any of the provisions of the Act. To effectively fulfill this mandate, NAPTIP has 8 departments. They are Administration, Legal and Prosecution, Investigation and Monitoring, Counseling and Rehabilitation, Public Enlightenment, Research and Programs Development, training and manpower development, and finance and accounts. It also has the following units: press and public relations, intelligence and international cooperation, procurement, reforms, and internal audit. At the helm of affairs of NAPTIP is a highly motivated and result-oriented legal and management expert with over 25 years of invaluable experience with top-notch leadership and managerial skills, as well as excellent analytical and communication skills. An indigene of Bayelsa State, Dame Julie Oka Donley graduated from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and was called to the Nigerian bar in 1992. She has held many positions in the government and private sector, some of which are Manager at the Securities and Exchange Commission, Company Secretary and Legal Advisor, Nigerian Capital Market Institute, Head, Abuja Regional Office, UBA Trustees PLC, Deputy Head of Chambers, Legal Resources Alliance, Executive Assistant to the Governor of Bayelsa State, and was Principal Partner, Julie Oka & Co. before her present appointment. She is also the founder of Julie Donley Kidney Foundation and the author of a book titled Parenting in the 21st Century. Dame Julie Oka Donley is a Fellow of the Institute of the International Chartered Secretaries and Administrators, an Associate of the Chartered Arbitrators of Nigeria, and a Fellow of the Institute of Auctioneers. She belongs to several professional bodies, including the Nigerian Bar Association, International Bar Association, and the Institute of Management, amongst others. Dame Julie Oka Donley assumed the office of the Director General of NAPTIP on the 18th of April 2017.
NAPTIP was created to prevent trafficking generally. We're also created to protect victims of trafficking, because if there's trafficking, obviously there must be victims. So NAPTIP was also created to prevent trafficking and to protect the victims of trafficking, to punish the traffickers by making sure they are prosecuted and convicted, and to also care for the victims as well. You know, we don't just protect them, but we also care for them. We give them some kind of support. That is why NAPTIP has got shelters attached to all the offices. And so we care for them by giving them food, clothing, and education, even medication as well. It's a total package. Nigeria has been downgraded to Tier 2 watch list, which is a big problem for me. I want to see Nigeria go back to Tier 1 to ensure that we conform to minimum standards set out by the Trafficking in Persons. And that is why I am trying to build our partnership base, expand our partnership base by partnering with the public, the private sector, bringing them close. Corporate organizations too must come together. And so far it's just been international partners, embassies, and all of that. So I want to bring every sector together to make sure that our partnership base is expanded. We started creating awareness. There's no end to creation of awareness. So I want to see a lot of awareness. Everyone on the streets must begin to know what human trafficking is. From the little child in the primary school to the village woman in the communities, involving everybody, all community leaders, women leader, youth leader, and what have you. So I want to create that awareness in the whole of Nigeria, not just in Nigeria, in fact in the whole world, you know, to ensure that people will be conscious of this horrible crime.
With her legal background and the zeal to eradicate human trafficking in Nigeria, apart from massive awareness campaigns, Dame Julie Oka Donley also has other strategies.
I recently established what I call the NAPTIP Rapid Response Squad. I mean, this squad is a squad that is on ground for 24 hours for any emergency cases. They investigate, they prosecute, they arrest, and you know, I mean, this is to make sure that every report we hear, you know, is attended to rapidly, as the name implies. You know, so we have this rapid response team, and then every week, every Monday, we have an action plan for the week. We don't just wait for reports to come to us. Sometimes we also go on surveillance, you know, and as well. So at the beginning of the week, we sit down and we strategize. Where are we going to survey today? What are we doing today? And then officers are assigned various tasks, and we take it from there. The anti-corruption unit was also established, and recently the officers were inaugurated as well. This is to make sure that corrupt officers found wanting will be properly prosecuted as well, because examples must be shown. I mean, in this kind of job, you cannot afford to be corrupt otherwise. The mandate is a very serious mandate, and we need to be sure of the officers working for us, because they are also vulnerable to all sorts of elements, who try to make sure that they are not brought to book. And so we had to set up this unit to make sure that everyone is put under check.
With just a few months in office, Dame Julie Oka-Donley has traversed the length and breadth of Nigeria and endemic countries, seeking partnerships with relevant stakeholders and the general public to prevent human trafficking. The passion and devotion to her work is unparalleled.
I do not see this position just as a position of, influence or as just a job. I'm very passionate about this job. I think of this job, I sleep with this job in my mind, I eat with this job in my mind. Every day I'm strategizing. I think of better ways to get this job done. I can say I'm in my place of abode. When you're in your place of abode, you function. But when you're not in your place of abode, you malfunction. It's just like putting a dog in a river and expecting the dog to survive. The dog will one day die or sink. But when a fish is in a place of abode, what does it do? It can come in the air and somersault and show you that this is where I belong. So this is exactly where I belong. And I'm going to make sure that by the grace of God, I prove it.
For the general public, prevention is key.
The advice I have for the public is simple. Don't get carried away by cheap offers. If you get an offer to travel, for example, for a job, please clear with NAPTIP. If you get an offer to go to a football academy, because that's how they take away our boys. These boys are raped. They are now converted into male prostitutes. They now become homosexuals. Please clear from NAPTIP. If you get an invitation from anyone to go for modeling, clear with us. Any invitation you get to go abroad, anywhere out of the country, please clear with NAPTIP. We will help you investigate to be sure it is real, and we will monitor to be sure you are safe. Because you see, trafficking has gone beyond sexual exploitation. It has taken a new dimension now, where organ harvesting is the in thing. They take your organs out for money. And then, of course, that means you may not even live to tell the story. So we are losing a lot of our youths now, men, women, and children. And that has become really worrisome to us here, because people don't talk. People see things and they don't talk. And this job mainly requires information to work with. Besides the challenges of people not speaking out and reporting crimes of human trafficking, we also have challenges of funding. Yes, we have international donor organizations, international partners and all of that, but funding has been a problem, and we're hoping that our budgetary allocation will be improved soon. And now I'm trying to see how to bring in the private sector, because the private sector has been very absent in the fight against trafficking. And this is a fight that should involve the whole of society and the whole of government. It's not a government job. It's a job for you, for me, and for everyone. And that is why awareness is going on strongly to educate the general public of the need to come together and partner with NAPTIP.
The appointment of Dame Julie Oka-Donley as the Director General of NAPTIP by the President, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, is a right step in the right direction for intensifying the fight against human trafficking. Indeed, NAPTIP is on the move.
Human trafficking is one of the worst crimes on earth. It is a grave violation of your human rights. The victims of human trafficking are majorly women, youths, children, and men who may never live to tell the story. These victims could be your wife, daughter, mother, sister, brother, child, or relative. No one deserves to be trafficked. NAPTIP has intensified its effort against this heinous crime. But we need your support. We need you to join this fight. Government officials, corporate organizations, traditional rulers, religious leaders, and the organized private sector have enlisted in this fight. What are you waiting for? Join NAPTIP to end this global moral epidemic. Stop human trafficking now.
Report cases of human trafficking to these NAPTIP hotlines: 0703 00 203, 080 02 255 627847. NAPTIP, empowered to protect you.
Up next is NAPTIP Events. Don't go away. The Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadunli, and her team recently paid a courtesy visit to the Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki. Stating the purpose of her visit, the Director General of NAPTIP highlighted some of the achievements of the agency.
The fight on human trafficking cannot be overemphasized, as it is a well-organized and versatile crime. We have been able to convict 334 offenders. We got a conviction 2 days ago. NAPTIP has been able to rescue and rehabilitate over 12,000 victims of human trafficking, arrest of over 9,000 offenders, collaborating right now with British government through the National Crime Agency to establish a joint border task force for enhanced intelligence-led detection and investigation of human trafficking cases. Deployment of officers at Heathrow and Gatwick airports in England to further enhance intelligence-led detection and arrest of offenders of human trafficking. It was a very successful operation. We were able to get the government to extend the whistleblowing policy to the fight against human trafficking.
She also pointed out challenges hampering effective delivery of the agency's mandate.
Some of our challenges now are rehabilitation and empowerment of these victims I'm talking about. Most of the time when these victims come, we don't even have the funds to feed them. Sensitization and awareness creation. We need to establish new shelters and renovate the existing shelters. We need to acquire equipment and operational vehicles for the agency. We're trying to establish a training academy.
She then sought the assistance of the Senate President on some issues.
We're requesting for your kind intervention, for favorable budgetary provision and proper funding. Every day we have like 100 or more cases of people being repatriated from all over the world, from Italy, from Mali, Burkina Faso, Ghana, where our girls are being trafficked, and our boys as well. And we have to go and receive them, put them in the shelters, feed them, treat them, and do all of this. For the rescue and rehabilitation of these victims, we need the government support from all the states.
Welcoming the Director General of NAPTIP and her team, the Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki, commended her passion.
As the focal agency, very responsible for elimination, the menace of human trafficking, I think your visit is timely in person. This has become a very big issue in the world today. And also for us here in the National Assembly, the 8th Senate is a priority. And as such, it is important for us to listen and hear from you. One feels very encouraged with the enthusiasm which you have spoken this afternoon. You can see a high level of frustration, but the good part is that we see people who are committed and to work with giving the necessary tools and resources to do that. And for us, as I said, this is a priority. This is something we must face head on.
He then addressed the issues raised and pledged support of the Senate.
We have a responsibility as a country to do the right thing. And it's clear that over the years, NAPTIP has not been a priority in budgeting and operation. And I believe that we need to really look at this in 2018. I'm happy that the leader of the Senate is here, as also as the chairman, judiciary, who's great responsibility. I think let us make a commitment this afternoon that definitely in 2018 we must really look at the budget and actually can see that we provide adequate funding for them to know that we make it more effective.
The Senate President also promised to visit the NAPTIP shelter in Abuja, ensure strengthened collaboration with state government, and highlight the need for the executive to see NAPTIP as a priority. The meeting had in attendance other distinguished senators, Senator Ahmed Lawan, Senator Joshua Lidani, and Senator David Umaru, amongst other legislative staff and members of the press. The Director General of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Dame Julie Okadunli, recently received the United Kingdom Anti-Slavery Commissioner, Sir Kevin Highland, and Lewis Evans of the British High Commission at the agency's headquarters in Abuja. The visit was geared towards discussing several areas of collaboration ranging from victim identification, prosecution of traffickers, welfare of the sheltered victims, public awareness, amongst other issues. Concluding the visit, Sir Kevin Highland shed more light on the areas of partnership.
What I see is there's going to be a great relationship between the United Kingdom and Nigeria, and particularly with NAPTIP. I see that under the Director General's leadership, there is a real desire to address human trafficking. I think that the idea of supporting victims more collaboratively so that we can actually give them the support they need and look for opportunities for them so they've got long-term reintegration is essential. But then also we need to pursue those who commit these crimes so that we can show that this crime doesn't pay, so that they will be punished if they trade in human beings. So I think that this relationship is something that is going to really develop over the coming years, so that we do actually start to show that this is a crime that nobody should participate in. I met with the Director General in London, and I was really impressed with her understanding of the issue of human trafficking, even though she had only been appointed in the last few months. I think we're seeing NAPTIP have very clear leadership, and what I do like about it is that clear leadership about supporting victims and pursuing criminals, getting right to the hub of the matter.
Strengthening partnerships is one of the key strategies of the agency towards eradicating human trafficking. In a bid to broaden the scope of partnerships to involve active participation of the private sector in the fight against human trafficking, the Director General of NAPTIP, Dame Julie Okadondi, visited the headquarters of the Tony Elumelu Foundation to meet with the chairman. Speaking on the purpose of her visit, the Director General of NAPTIP shed light on the need for the private sector to get involved in the fight against trafficking.
We're here to seek partnership and support for the fight against human trafficking, and to seek ways in which you can help to reduce those factors that increase vulnerability of persons to this modern day slavery, like poverty and employment. And this is where raising young entrepreneurs came in, because we know for a fact that you've been raising a lot of young entrepreneurs, and we want to take advantage of this, your program and any other program that you have for the care of the victims and support of victims in various shelters.
Welcoming the Director General of NAPTIP and her team, the chairman of the foundation, Tony Elumelu, expressed happiness at her appointment.
I, on behalf of the board and management of United Bank for Africa, who support what you're doing, we are proud of you as one of our own. We commend President Mohamed Buhari in appointing you to this office.
He further pledged the support of his foundation and promised to galvanize the private sector in the fight against human trafficking.
Let me also use this opportunity to call on fellow private sector leaders. Julie is a competent person. She's worked with us. We know this lady's passion and her forthrightness. What she's also doing will bring glory to our country and dignity to mankind. We should all support her. If she succeeds, we all succeed as a country. If she succeeds, we make sure that the true future leaders of our country are not trafficked youths before they realize their full potential. The Tony Elumelu Foundation believes a lot in the empowerment of our youth. And our youth cannot be empowered if some are in trafficking. We want to make sure that we work with you, we stand with you in eradicating human trafficking in Nigeria, and that is eradicated all over Africa.
The involvement of the organized private sector in the war against trafficking in persons is one of the strategies of Dame Julie Okadondi geared towards eradicating human trafficking in Nigeria.
For more inquiries and support, or to report cases of suspected human trafficking and child abuse, please call NAPTIP hotlines on 0703 0000 203 or 0800 2255 627847 or email info@naptip.gov.ng. Visit our website on www.naptip.gov.ng and follow us on our social media platforms at NAPTIP Nigeria.
I hope you were enlightened. It is indeed a fight for all. Let us support NAPTIP in this fight against trafficking in persons. We invite you to join us again, same time next week. I am Emmanuel Okeke. Thank you for watching.